Good morning, everyone. We're so happy to be here this morning. As you know, it's Tuesday. My name is Sylvia Bimwansa, or simply Sunshine. We are excited because we've got a guest here with us today, and this guest is just doing family and home right now, but you'll be able to enjoy her. Today we've got our subject of family and home. It is just part of the 6 areas of life that we talk about that makes us have our total human beings and our total human beings and our things that we need to be doing. Let me just put my phone on mute. I forgot to do that. Rev was telling us yesterday that we have to be able to do these things all the time. So as I try to put my phone on mute, please share with someone that we are on, and it's family and home today. So let's just get to those places where we can be able to understand one another and be able to take things that we need to be able to do in our lives. So as you may know, we come here every day, Monday to Friday. Monday, we've got Rev Water. On Tuesday, it's Mindset Change. On Wednesday, it's our market day, and you can join us and market your products and services at a very small fee. As you heard last week, we had our guest where we had offered our space for Kayola Childhood Cancer Foundation so that they could be able to just tell the world of, or those concerned what they do to save a life. On Thursday, we've got Dr. Nelly, who talks to us about prosperity of your soul. And on Friday, we've got Dr. Jackie, who makes sure that every day we are drinking water and we're just making sure that we are preventing those diseases. So today is an amazing day where we have a guest speaker, Sharon Chileshe, who's going to join us. What do we mean when we say family and home spoke of the will of life? We just mean that we should be intentional about the way we socialize ourselves in our own families. How do we have quality time with our families? How do we allocate the activities in our family and home? Because there are a lot of things that we can be able to do, and a lot of things that come around because of who we are and how we take control of our time. And it doesn't matter in each area of life. As you know, our program, the Mindset Change, speaks about the whole wheel of life, where you are in the center here, where you are managing your 24 hours. You are in the center here managing your 24 hours. And the way we manage our 24 hours is allocate time in each spoke of the wheel of life, starting with family and home. Then you have your financial and career. You have to create time for your financial and career. Then we've got your mental and education. Mental and education, a lot of people take it for granted that because no one is going to know what I'm doing, no one is going to know how I think, no one is going to know the way I relate with people, no one is going to know what book I'm reading, no one is going to know that I went to school to that place, as long as I carry myself well. But we have to allocate time to a mental and educational spoke of the wheel of life. Physical and health. This is why we join every time with us with Dr. Jackie, so that we can be reminded of how we can prevent diseases and how we can just be able to manage our physical and health spoke of the wheel of life. Then we've got the spiritual and ethical spoke of the wheel of life. This spiritual and ethical, this is our daily well-being. So how do we do that? How do we do that if we have to, to be able to give ourselves some marks in spiritual and ethical? And then the last one is social and cultural. Social, what networks do you belong in? And who are you networking with? And at the end of the day, do you carry your own values? What are your own values? So this completes the wheel of life. So today we concentrate on family and home. As you have, those who have been following us, we've been going, step by step, and we have got people who have undergone through the program, and we just want them to share their experiences. And this is why today we've got our guest, Sharon Chileshe. If Sharon Chileshe is already packed and somewhere where she can be able to join us, just open your camera and introduce yourself. Introduce yourself, and then we can take it up, from there. Sharon, it's over to you. Sharon, have you packed? As we wait for Sharon to carry on, we just want to remind each one of you to just tell us in the chat box, what are you allocating time for your family and home? Are you allocating time for your family and home? Just type those things so we can be able to see that you have allocated, or the activity that you're doing under family and home. Let's see those comments coming. Let's see those comments coming. Let's see those comments coming. Z, what allocation of time are you giving to family and home? What can we talk about family and home?
She actually got booted out, so she's not here yet. She's trying to come back in.
Okay. So, Rev, you can just comment on what activity are you making in your own family and home? Today is Tuesday. We are coming to you live from wherever you are, whether you're joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, and we're just socializing ourselves, or on LinkedIn, we're just socializing ourselves to this very important spoke of your will of life. In fact, today's spoke of the will of life, I dedicate it to my own family. Can we be able to see some of these things that we can be able to do as an activity? How can we come together every day? We forgot about our Sundays. So what are we doing about our Sundays? Who is in charge of this Sunday, coming Sunday, to just talk about issues, talk about the small successes that we're making, the big successes that we're making? How are we allocating time to make sure that this is what we are doing about our own family and home? There are a lot of questions or a lot of articles that are there in our family and home. Let me just find some so I would be able to share the points that we have in this our family and home. So one of the mindset change process can be a powerful tool for helping individuals align their family and home life. And I took out some of the activities that we could be able to do. And one of the main activity is communication exercises. I would like to encourage open and honest communication within the family. This can be achieved through activities like active listening. You listen. How do you listen? Watching your spouse, watching your children. Are they happy about what's going on around the family? Are they intentional about the things that they want to do? Are they able to look at you and say, "Oh, I think my spouse, or I think my child, my daughter, my grandmother," like the way if those ones that follow me, I spent a night out with my mother-in-law. She turned 96 years old. I had nothing, to give her, but I just gave her myself, my love, to say, "Oh, I'm celebrating you." And then I was there talking. She would say, "I want to speak to this one. I want to speak to this person." I would call them and they would speak. And it made so much, the atmosphere was so good. And she would just say, "What about this one? Let me speak to this one. What about this one?" So we spent the whole afternoon, the whole, a quarter of the night, and in the morning before I went to Kayula Child Cancer Foundation. So we're just chatting. And these are some of the activities that you can be able to do without really paying a lot of money, celebrating something, just giving yourself quality time. And this is how I managed to express myself in that area of the spoke of the will of life. So we have to teach our families to express their thoughts, to express their feelings, and also to express their needs. The second one is quality time. And here it is telling me that I must encourage spending time, quality time together as a family. This can involve engaging in activities that promote bonding, and connection. This is one of the areas where you can go for walks together. You can, go outing. You can say, okay, Sunday we're going for a picnic. And I remember even when Sharon herself did the mindset change program, and in that wheel of life, we're talking about, she would want to take her child to her sister, and how are they going to be able to socialize to prepare for, for that experience, is maintaining that quality time and making sure that, your people or your siblings or your parents are ready for you when you arrive in their own environment. Do weekly rituals like a family movie night or a weekend family outing. You see, there are a lot of these things that we can be able to do. So are we getting one another? Is it getting clearer that these are just simple activities that we can be able to do? If it's clear, just type in the chat box that it is clear. Point out on your Facebook page so that someone can be able to see you and say, oh, this is great. Oh, I can see Sharon. Sharon is back. She's ready and we can be able to join her. So Sharon, I'll just be taking through some of the activities that we can do in our family and home. And I've just talked about communication and I've talked about quality time. So as you introduce yourself, we pick it up from there. Introduce yourself and let people know that who you are and the things that you do in the scope of the family and home. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I hope I'm very clear and everyone can hear me.
Yes, yes, you are.
It's
You're looking
wonderful.
super.
It's a wonderful morning, and I think for me, I think the one thing that's the most important is that every morning I have gathered myself. So my name is Sharon Chileshe. I've been working for nonprofits for a number of years now, about 18 years. And I've been doing consultancies just to support my investment plans and our daily living. So I basically do the normal work, office work, but then I also do consultancies, which are different projects and various documents that I write, just also to just supplement. So meaning that I'm quite busy. I'm quite busy. I'm always on the laptop. I'm always on the phone. So because of that, it takes a lot of my time. So it means that I need to prioritize. And what I learned from having attended the Mindset Change program is to ensure that I allocate adequate time to my son. I have a son. So my family and my son, they need to have adequate time. What I realized that what I was giving them was more of a reaction to how it has been, how business has been. So they would get the stressed version of me as opposed to the normal me. So during the Mindset Change program, having deliberate attempts to ensuring that I spend time with them is a way of ensuring that I put aside everything from the business end, all the stresses from the business end, and I give them some attention. As much as business is important, finances are important, pleasing your customers are important. You've got long-term customers that you need to please, but they also need to know that at this particular hour, I'm logging off, I'm logging out. I need to now do something with my son. I need to go and visit my sister. I need to have a chat with my brother and all of that. So that becomes very important. So already Sunshine has spoken about communication, and it becomes important the way you communicate with them, because the stressed you is already, your voice is different, your tone is different. You are in a hurry to just have a quick chat. you're not paying attention to non-verbal cues, you're in a hurry, or you're shouting because a client stressed you. That one it was a very common before I attended the mindset change program. So I ensure that when I'm communicating with them, I need to also see how are they really doing. And with my son, who is on the autism spectrum, it becomes important to even pay attention to far much more than even an adult. So you need to find out how is he doing. And it's very easy to tell whether he had a bad day from school just from the way he is. And sometimes when he comes, and of late, he's been sitting on my lap. He's 9 years old and he hugs and sits on my lap. So I told myself, why is he doing this? And one of the reasons is because the past 3 or so months I've been quite busy. And then he's trying to get my full and undivided attention. So I've been deliberately making efforts to ensure that as I communicate to him, I'm communicating to him and I'm not just giving him a small part and quickly getting back to the laptop. So I switch off the laptop, I put it away, and I communicate with him. How are you doing? How was school, son? Ethan? And then he'll tell me all the things that he wants. One other important thing is to listen.
I just want you to, to really tell those, others. I know I socialize with Ethan, and I've got fond memories of our quality time that we had with him, where, he would come and say, "Oh, Grandma Sunshine," and I had a glimpse of him this morning when you were dropping him at school. And I sent you something, that I learned. And this is the beauty of why we do these things. I had a guest in our home, a specialist in autism. And I was sharing this. I had an interview with her. It's a pity that I cannot publicize it because she's a private person. But she allowed me to share it with my family and my family in the social network who could benefit from that. And you've just spoken something that is so critical, and there will be many more families out there who may have associate themselves with or who have got children with autism. And this, touched my heart so much when I learned that, with autistic children, you have to prepare them. Even when you are going onto your laptop, even when you are going to be busy, even when you are going to take them somewhere, you have to start preparing them, a day at a time, trying to get their attention and say, we are going to go somewhere. We're going to, to meet so-and-so. We're going to expect this and that, so that they are ready and they can align themselves. And one of the things that she told me about her own experiences was that one day, the family was going to go for a holiday in abroad in France, and this child always had the grandfather with them. They were living with the grandfather, but when they went for that holiday, they left the grandfather at home, and they did not prepare the child, about that they are not going to have. He's not going to have his grandfather during the holiday. When they arrived in France, they were excited. Everyone was excited apart from him. And then he was just so miserable. Whatever they did, he was just in tantrums and throwing things, and they couldn't even have anything. So they couldn't enjoy their holiday because they did not prepare him, about where they were going. And they had to cut their holiday short. And when he saw the grandfather, he was so happy, hugs, and they continued playing the things that they love. So, as you mentioned about that, I had goosebumps and said, is this, because this is family and home that we're talking about today. So you can just share how you manage, to take care, and how you manage to make sure that he's having your attention and is having the things, some techniques that you can share to those that have got a similar condition. Sharon.
Okay, so for me, it's everything. It's even when I'm going for work. So the nanny even laughs that it's like you're getting permission, kind of. So imagine where you're getting permission for for moving out of the house every time. So even in the morning, I explain to him, I'm going for work, I'm going to the office. Because remember, he wants to be with me. So he wants to go everywhere with me. So I have to tell him, okay, you are going to school, Ethan. So I'm going to work. And then he knows the names of people, the names of my workmates. And you're going to see this one. And I'll say, yes, I'm going to be with this one. You're going with the gray laptop. Yes, I'm going with the gray laptop. So we have an exchange even about work, just the daily work. I'm going for work. And then when he is going to school, of late, he mentions the date. I'm going to school on the 12th. The 12th of September. I said, yes, you're going to school on the 12th September, Tuesday. You mention the day. And you mention the activity that's going on at school. And I'll listen. Okay, so how are you going to do that? The swimming today? Oh, okay. Are you going to enjoy it? So we have a brief chat even every day. Every day. So for us, it's not even just an event, it's every day, so that he comes to term that he has this a self-awareness, he has a self-consciousness to say, okay, this is where I'm going to be, and this is how I'm going to feel where I'm going. So it's almost as if he prepares how he's going to feel where he's going. He prepares how he's going to feel when you leave him. So with that information, it helps him gather himself, and he's calm once he knows exactly what is going to happen, exactly where you're going to be, exactly where he is going to be. So when you're not even with him, he's going to ask, where is mommy? Mommy is at work. So he will respond to the person who will ask him, because you explained to him where you're going. For trips, it's the same. I do travel and I have to leave him. So which is even harder. So we start days before speaking about where I'm going to go, speaking about how much fun he's going to have with his auntie who I'm going to leave him with, speaking about the different things he needs to do, speaking about the toys he's going to play with. I make sure he has familiar toys around him, thinking about a trip. Even if I'm going with him, I make sure he has carried something familiar, which is either a toy. We make sure we communicate continuously. If I've carried him with me, he's still communicating with other family members he's familiar with. So he will still have a video call with my sister. He will still have a video call with even his nanny, his own nanny. He also wants to continue communicating with the nanny because he's with her every day. So when we leave her behind, he asks about her and we call her and he chats with her. So all the familiar things, whether it's one person or two people or a toy, that one either has to be with him or he has to continuously chat with them. So the normal day routine has to be somewhat maintained, at least for an hour each day, so that there is no feeling of I'm lost. So that is one very important thing, to maintain at least 2 or 3 things of the normal day routine wherever you have taken that child, or if you have left him, you have to call and talk about the things you talk about when you're with him. So that is our daily routine, and that is how I always prepare him, trip or no trip. But every day I have to explain myself to him. I'll be going for work.
That is so good. That is so good. And this is how one of the the areas where we have to how to maintain family and home is establishing routines. And you've ably spoken about how you have established routine and rituals, for Ethan.
Ritual.
What about role playing? How do you how do you do role playing and conflict resolution in your own family and home spoke of the wheel of life?
I've noticed that he imitates me when I'm telling him we're talking and we're watching maybe a movie, and he'll say something. He's going to say something, either something in the very tone of voice the teacher used. And I'm going to say, oh, who said that? Who said that? And I'll imitate the voice and I'll try and get him to tell me who said that. And then sometimes he says, Mommy says, don't do this. Don't go outside. So I'll say, oh, did I say that? Okay, now I'll be saying it more calmly. Ethan, don't go outside. Because, when you're panicking, when you think he has gone outside the gate, there's that panic of he'll get lost. He did get out, stray out of the gate and lose his way back at one point. So there's that panic. So sometimes the tone of voice when you're trying to get him not to go outside the gate is high. So you find him imitating you, and so we end up, talking about that actually when he says it in that very high tone of voice, upset tone of voice. then you say, oh, Ethan, sorry about that. I will make sure that next time I say it properly. Don't go anywhere. Stop wandering. Stop wandering. Don't wander off. So that one is one of the things that is something that he notices. He notices tone of voice apart from the sound itself. Are you speaking with a high tone of voice? Are you upset? Are you happy when you're speaking to him? So that is something that also you have to be careful with. And this is with a child who is on the spectrum or a child who is not, because it becomes important, because they also notice that. They notice you're upset when you're talking about this. They imitate you even as they are playing with one another. They imitate you even as they're speaking to you, so that you also have a feel of that same tone of voice. So that's one
Wow.
aspect. So I think for us, it's you get to get feedback from him through that, and that's how you know that you were talking with a too high tone of voice, or you need to change and adjust this and that. But otherwise,
Okay.
communication is key, and it must be ongoing. And one thing we have maintained is, in the car when we're the two of us, the radio is off, because when the radio is on, I'm busy listening to the news and I'm not listening to him. So one very
Ah,
important thing, he's sitting, but the radio is off, and I'm saying, so have you seen that gate? Okay, have you seen that there's a red gate? This tree, the name of this tree. And I'll go on and on and on until I drop him at school. Then I switch on the radio and I catch up on the news.
wow, wow. I just want to find out, because one of the big things on the mindset change is goal setting and shared aspirations. So can you just discuss about how you goal set with family, in the family and home, and how you have these discussions around the goals that you have set for yourself?
All right. So my goals are actually attached to my family setting. So as much as I would want to do this huge business, the most important thing is, do I have time for the family, and where does the family sit in? I could move to Iraq or to Saudi Arabia or to, to Afghanistan, but where does my son fit in? Where does the people who are familiar to him fit in? So even as I think of even a simple job offer or a consultancy where I need to travel there, can I take him with me? Where does he fit in? If I go after a month and he's to follow me, who will bring him to come and see me? Who will bring him to come and live with us? So all of that. So it means that even as I analyze a job, what is the job location? What does the job entail? Does it entail me putting my life at risk? What will happen to him? Who will take care of him? So number one is even just considering whether your family is going to be with you even as you go on this business. Are they going to be with you? How long will you be gone? Remember, I cannot leave him for more than a month without familiar people. And even when I leave for 2 weeks, I communicate daily. Even if network is difficult, I communicate every other day, video calling, so that he sees my face, he sees my smile. How is mommy doing? She's happy, she's okay. I need to see his smile too. So not leaving him a month means that I cannot go on a consultancy that says, come to Afghanistan for 3 months, especially if I cannot carry him with me. So that changes the kind of consultancies I even look at. It changes the kind of jobs I look at. Where is this job taking me? Is there a school for my son? So I have to also think of that, and I can simply not take this assignment because of this. I can't take my son, or he cannot adjust to that environment. So all of that affects my decision making and my goals, the goals that I have set. So all the goals that I've set for our future involve him and involve all those familiar people that he's familiar with. So he's familiar with my sister. So my goal of my next career move involves, if we move out of town or out of this country, can this sister come at least every now and then to visit my son? Can this brother that he's so fond of visit every now and then so that they can speak, they can play? Or can we visit? How often will we see them? So all of that affects the decisions and the goals that I make for the future, because they involve all of us.
Oh, wow, wow. He's fond of Grandma Sunshine, so one of these days I'll be following him. So
Please.
how about about how do you deal with because in the area of family and home, we have to have appreciative and gratitude, encourage family members to express appreciation and gratitude towards each other. How do you do that? How do you maintain it in your own setting?
So I start with my son and I thank him for everything that he does for me. So when I send him to bring me some water, I thank him when he brings it. So that he can begin to reciprocate. That is number one. Because when he starts with me, then he'll continue on to all the other people, that the inner circle, the people that he loves. He will also say thank you. When something happens and I have to say sorry, I say sorry and I give him a hug so that he can reciprocate and also do the same to other family members that are around us, whom he's saying sorry to. So all this thank you, the sorry, all of that, he needs to learn it first one-on-one from me. Then it goes on to the nanny who lives with us. Then it goes on to all the other people that he communicates with. And we make sure that also we get some feedback from the school. Is he also saying sorry? Is he also saying thank you? Is he also saying excuse me? So that is one way of doing it every day, to make sure deliberately you say thank you, even for the smallest thing. Bring me some water. The cup comes and you say thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, now you can sit down. Every day. And that also came from the mindset change program that we were learning on, and also even our therapists encourage that. So in continuous communication and showing appreciation through hugs, showing appreciation through words, so that he also even learns the words to use when you appreciate someone.
That is so good. And this is part of the personal development and growth, because we say, can we be able to encourage family members to engage in personal development activities individually? And you just explained about it, how you go through that. As we come to an end of this, I would just like to appreciate you for you taking time out in your busy schedule, sitting in the car, talking to us and sharing to the world out there just how you manage your family and home. And for people that are listening to us, how she manages her son with a condition is just the same as you can manage, children who do not even have a condition. Because for her, she has to go an extra mile to make sure that he's getting things and making sure that nothing is above or below the standard of family and home. But we should also remember that each family is unique, and different strategies may work may work better for some people, and there are so many examples that you can be able to do. But the one thing that I would like to leave with you is create time. At least have a meal on the table together. I hope you are still doing that, Sharon, sitting on the table and having a meal and telling those wonderful stories that you do. So these are just some of the things that, as we carry on our family and home spoke of the wheel of life, let's allocate time, let's communicate, let's observe. It's very important to observe how the other person is feeling, so that you can deal with it and talk about something that you have to do on a daily basis. So just in closing, can you just share, can you just close for us and just give yourself a pat on the back and say, oh, this is so wonderful for today, and we really appreciate you taking time off your busy schedule to just give us some tips of how you deal with your family and home. And this applies to all of you. Go out today and make sure that you are being sensitive to your people, you are having quality time, and you can communicate effectively so that you can be able to have a good life. Sharon. Okay, we end there. We are past 4 minutes. I just appreciation, and thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to tomorrow, Wednesday. It's a market day. We will give you who we are featuring for tomorrow. For now, it's bye-bye and have a blessed sunshine day.